Okay, thank you. You are indeed most welcome to this anniversary conference of the ICES network. My name is Martin Törngren, professor at KTH, and I was part of creating this center 10 years ago, and I'm here together with the chairman of the board.
So my name is Tor Eriksson. I work at ÅF, and I've been chairman of the board of ICES since it started 2008.
Here we have a view of the program for today. We are happy to have a keynote, Professor Werner Damm from Office. We have industrial perspectives and other perspectives. We conclude with the panel, and for those that have time, there might be a few places left for the dinner if you didn't register. Now, we have a competence network, and competence networks are about engaging people. So let's do that, shall we? First of all, this is a classroom. This is the Royal Institute of Technology. So please open your favorite laptop, cell phone, or whatever, and you go to kahoot.it. And there will be a little quiz. Kahoot.it. In the meantime, I will prepare. There are a few people that have been closely involved in ICES that actually have trained on this Kahoot. They may choose not to participate if they like. But so you go to Kahoot and then you enter this number here, and hopefully you will then enter a name, and we should have a number of players in a minute. Let's give it a little while. We are something like 35, 40 in here. So maybe we can aim for getting to 30 before starting. How are you doing? Someone still connecting? All connected? All that wants to have connected? Okay. Then let's get started. And the quiz is obviously about the ICES network. There are 9 questions. There are 20 seconds per question. There is a time reward also if you answer quickly. What does ICES stand for? The name was coined in 2008. Turned out that we actually came up with a pretty good acronym, which could be interpreted in many ways. The red one would be valid in a sense, but you did very well. And innovative here refers to our ambition to have a center which is innovative. Well done, extremely well done. Okay, and someone was able to answer quickly. Next one. This is also a qualitative one. I can tell you that we did achieve all of this, but what might be qualitatively most important? Okay, we have a similar opinion. Many of these things are important. When it comes to catalyzing projects, that what we mean there is partly catalyzing on the Swedish side, but the IFES project was actually catalyzed by ICES into Europe. Okay, very good still. Yes, we have evolved our vision and goals slightly. And again, all of these are actually correct in a sense. And so it's a qualitative reasoning here. Okay. Yeah. All answers are correct, but the correct ones are even more correct. The long-term network will continue and generate more spin-offs, ideas, and activities. Okay. So how large is the network in terms of persons, and how many subscribe to the US? Well, how many subscribe to the newsletter of you and in total? This is somewhat tricky. Oh, well. So I hope that was a self-fulfilling prophecy. If you are not subscribing, now you have to subscribe. And oh, Girland is still on. Wow. Okay. And again, a tricky question. Qualitative. But here there is actually a unique kind of distinct answer. Yeah, okay. So the nice thing is that all answers, we did start in 2008, but there were other centers starting in 2008. Okay, ICES does certainly involve many groups, but there are other centers that does that as well. We have collaboration with multiple domains, but again, there are other centers that do that. But nearly all centers at KTH, there are some 50 centers at KTH, which are typically multidisciplinary collaborations with industry. Nearly all of them are focusing on research. And that's where ICES sticks out with the complementary role. Okay. Yeah. This is for the people that remember the history. Founding members. Yeah, pretty good. Yeah, no one voted for Amazon. Okay, we move on. 3 more questions. These are projects ICES help to contribute to generate or be part of. And it was quite a tricky question because it's a matter of how much ICES were involved, but we do believe that all projects mentioned here, ICES has played the role, and we are aware, or more or less aware, of more projects. So the green one is the right one. Johnny reminded me this morning about another EU project, EMC2. There are more, and there are national projects. I think this was the first one where we had a slightly different opinion. Okay, 2 more to go. Master's programs at KTH. Which ones are ICES engaging with? Okay, you did very well. ICES currently has student members from embedded systems, mechatronics, systems, robotics, and control. Our regional industry typically employs students from these master's programs, But of course, there are other programs with which we could engage as well, and will aim to do so. Last question, I believe. We have a firm lead from our Vice Rector. I'm here referring to organizations where we have had co-located events, co-organized meetings, and so on. And you got it right. So these are, let's say, the primary organizations we are working with today. But we are also working with strengthening collaboration with the KTH Software Center, Castor, with WASP, and others. So let's have a look at the result here. Congratulations, Girlan. And with this little quiz, I hope you have gained some insights, not complete insights, but some insights into what the network is doing. And hopefully you will gain more understanding today. And there will be an exhibition, and there will be people from ICES around. Maybe the people that are heavily engaged in ICES right now on the board, competence group members, could stand up. Just to so that you know whom to ask. Okay, thank you. KTH, we have also had former relations through ICES and your role as the head of the ICT school. Welcome. Thank you.
Thank you very much. It's a pleasure to be here. Now you're warmed up and you can see that we can play with all the new toys for pedagogical enhancement. So on behalf of KTH, I wish you a warm welcome to this anniversary. We are speaking 10 years. That's nothing in the history of KTH. We are approaching 200 years. In a few years, we should plan already for the big celebration. Many of you already know KTH very well. I just want to mention a few facts. And also, as Martin pointed out, when I was head of the ICT school in Kista, I was probably the first head of school that really set aside some funding for you, and which led to that you got more and more funding from other schools, your own school, for example. So that shows that I appreciate the initiative with the ICES activities. We are about 16,000 students at KTH, and we have a magnificent number of PhD students. We are almost 2,000 PhD students. The faculty is very strong. I usually round off upwards, but to be a bit more, not too fantastic numbers, we are about 800 in the faculty, professors, associate professors, assistant professors, so that's very strong. But we also have almost 1,000 researchers with a PhD degree, and they also contribute very well to the fantastic research we are doing here. And to brag a bit more, we are really working on getting world appreciation, and that means we are trying to be highly ranked on the different ranking lists in the world. So one magnificent number we have is that we have 8 subject fields where we are doing research, which is among the 50 top universities in the world, which is, to me, very exciting. And one more thing, you are representing companies here. Our students, grad students and undergraduate graduate students are very employable. We are really taking positions in the in the ranking list on graduate employability. So we are at 76 or 79 in the QS ranking. That's one of the lists. So that's fantastic. We also have a challenge now. We have 5 distinct campuses. And ICES as a center is really working with several of these campuses. Of course, I am thinking of the ICT campus we have in Kista, but also we have activities in the south of Stockholm and at the main campus here. So I think KTH is really spread out over the whole region here, the greater Stockholm area, from Södertälje in the south to Kista in the north. One thing which is very important for a research university such as KTH is, of course, that we have very strong research infrastructures. And we have a couple of those, more or less of interest for the ICES activities. I think of the supercomputer, for example, which is just next door. We have activities in the Electrum building in Kista with the Electrum laboratory with the leading edge technology for the Internet of Things gadgets and these kind of things. I was asked to talk about the strategic partnerships that we have at KTH. So since 2011, we have established a strategic partnership with some of the major players in Sweden, the big companies. Ericsson, of course, was the first strategic partner we engaged in, but we have 10 more, and we have Saab, of course, and many of the companies that are involved in the ICES center. We also have a strategic relation with the city of Stockholm and the county council of Stockholm. Lots of very important societal challenges are produced in these relationships, and we can see that, for example, other centers like Digital Demo Stockholm involves many of your companies here in these societal challenges to find solutions, where embedded electronics is, of course, one of the key issues. We also very much like to have this international outreach. So we have also 6 partner universities all over the world. We have 2 in the China region, we have in Singapore, we have in the US, we have also in Asia, in Tokyo. So we are really expanding there, and the reason why we are there is multifold, because we have a need to get the best students in the world to us. We also need to tie up with the best researchers in the world and so on, and we need to have this sort of building trust with the whole international community. So I think that is quite important for us. ICES is, of course, a local center here, but the outreach may be quite international, I hope. We have also other forms of collaboration at KTH. We are having open platforms like the Open Lab, where people from different companies and organizations also come together and solve challenge-driven research objectives. So these are the new things that we are engaging. I talked to Martin just before this opening. Lifelong learning is a really important thing that we have to gear up on. We have had many sort of continuing education efforts at KTH over the years. Right now we're maybe on the low side, but we are really ramping up lifelong learning. It can mean many things, I know, but everyone speaks of lifelong learning. You, coming from various companies, will also engage with KTH and define what kind of needs do you see for the future. You need to sort of continuous educate your personnel. Do you need to to transform your personnel from the analog to the digital side, whatever. We are very happy to have this discussion with you. It's really important. You're not here to listen to me. I just want to welcome you again to KTH. I hope you have a marvelous afternoon and also tomorrow. Unfortunately, I will not be able to take part in the whole event here, but I will listen to a couple of presentations. So I wish you a very successful conference and celebrating the 10 years of ICES performance. Thank you.
Thank you, Mikael. Thank you very much. And I think we are doing well on time, and we are now gearing up for our first invited speaker, a keynote. It is my great pleasure to introduce Professor Werner Damm from the University of Oldenburg and from the Research Institute office. Werner was a previous speaker at an ICES conference. I'm not sure exactly when that was, 2009 maybe. So it's great to have you back. Werner has also been very active in the German level and European level in creating networks. I believe you were part of shaping the Artemis Association and the Safe Trans network in Germany. And now you will tell us everything we need to know about safe autonomy. Is that it? You are most welcome, Werner.